Modeling in Blender is really difficult, and trying to model without a clear idea of what you're going to be doing and exactly what workflow you should be following makes it 10 times more difficult, and may even just result in you quitting the project entirely. So by the end of today's video, I'm going to be walking through my exact workflow and the tools that I use to make almost everything inside Blender. So let's just hop straight in. Okay, so step number one, you are going to need some reference. Okay, so here is the reference for this little project I was working on. The reason we need this is because if you don't know what you're going to be making, then you're just going to be lost and more confused. Now, you don't have to have a reference of a real life thing like this. You can also have something called a mood board, which is basically an idea of what you're going to make, not a specific guide that you're going to be one-to-one copying, all right? Now, this is going to be the same in almost everything. In every single project, you're going to have some sort of concept. You can even just rely on a little sketch inside of whatever you are doing. You just get a piece of paper and sketch something out, just so you know kind of what you're going to be doing. Because if you're confused or lost on what to do in your project, having extra references and stuff like that inside a board like this, so this is PureRef, a great software, by the way, it's free, just go download it, is going to make it a lot easier on your project. And my first thing I like to do with this reference before starting my project is actually breaking down into the simplest shape and the different sections of the model. Because if we're going to start breaking this down, essentially each piece of this is just a rounded off square like that. So if you take it there and then it basically just goes up and it's like a slightly bigger, and then inside it just goes like it gets insetted inwards. It's just basically a square like that. Then obviously we just have a little inset like there with sphere or like circle, circle, and then a little thing like that. So we need to kind of know what we're going to be doing because that's going to help a lot with the modeling. Now, number two, you need to do a block out. The whole point of your block out is to get idea of the proportions, how it's moved around, and check if everything's good scale, all of that good stuff. First thing, like example, a lot of the times we can start out with a cube. So here we can just basically scale this down, get it to the rough position we need for that. And then we can go add a mirror. So let's go add a mirror modifier. And then we can just go add a empty to be our like mirror object. Okay. And then now if we set our mirror object to be mirror object, there we go. And now we can obviously move it around. Okay. And then if you want to just go like get a rough idea of the shape. So you can see, so just like slightly like that, extrude, scale, and then we can just push it in like this. Okay. And then over here, you can maybe pull this back, maybe it needs to be a little bit thinner, or it needs to be like a little bit smaller. Okay, like this. And then we can take this, and then if we go zoom in on our reference, you can see it goes out a little bit. So extrude out like that, scale it up, extrude a bit. Okay. And then that's when we get to the actual like ear cups. So I think, yeah, now that you've done that, you can see like if it's going to be ear cups on top of that, it's going to be really thick. So there, maybe extrude inwards and make it out a little bit and extrude scale like this. Okay, so you see like that. And now you can see we need to make it a bit wider and obviously inset and extrude in. Okay, so there, good block out for that bit. And then we'll probably need another cube. So we just go add a cube like this. We can select this and go copy to selected, scale it down. And this is going to be kind of the little bit that joins the things together. So there, and then from the front, we also need to have the little overarching thing. So what we can do with that is we can literally just go grab a plane, bring it up, and then just go add edge loop in the middle, and then just go add a mirror. So go mirror again, and then just delete the left side. And then we can go just kind of trace out what we vaguely need, and then go scale it down, maybe use some proportional editing. You see that. And then if we want to need, we can basically like just add a couple more edges, we turn off proportional editing, and just get a good start. Now, step 3, use simple tools to start detailing. Some basic details, just add a subdivision and just start adding edge loops to control the shape, and you can get pretty far. Now, the good thing with the whole block out is a lot of the times you can just start adding a solidifier, a subdivision, and start detailing those parts. So for example, if I take this and add a subdivision, it kind of breaks the shape. Some bits are going to be worse than others, but if you know some basic modeling techniques, we can take this and start getting it to the shape we need. So obviously you can see this is very round right now, and we're supposed to have more of a square. So what we could do is just add edge loop in the center like this, and off the rip, that gives us a pretty good result. Now, if we need some edges to be more harsh, you can see it like here, we can just go add more edge loops and bring it in like there. And for example, here, if we need, we can just take this inside edge and then just inset. And you see that goes and sharpens up this edge right here into something like this. Okay, so whatever edge you need to be sharpened, you can go add edge loop. Same thing over here. We could just go add edge loop there, and then that will make this front bit a bit flatter. We can also just go add an edge loop like that to give that edge some sharpness. You see here. So basically, we're just going to start cleaning up this whole mesh. Wherever we need to have a more harsh edge, we can do there. So there, we can just drag that in. Maybe go add edge loop there. You see that sharpens up that edge. Maybe give this some more shape. We can also just bevel an edge like that just to kind of control it there. And maybe we still want it to be quite smooth. You see, I think it goes quite smooth there, but we want to kind of control it. So it's not blending from here to here, it's blending from here to here. Okay, same thing over here. We can literally just delete this edge because I think that should be a little bit smoother, like that. And yeah, and if you wanted this, we could also bevel this slightly to give it slightly more squared off. And yeah, there we go, looking pretty decent. Now, if we need any more like extra details, you see here we have little indents. We can just go bevel like that. So Control B, and then we can just go extrude inwards like this. Cool. And you see there, and it's looking very rounded. So what we could do is we can even just grab these two edges and they go Control B. And then if we have our bevel set up correctly, so I'll show you now, it's currently by default does it like this. And we also have to just check that our scale is correct. So I'm actually going to undo, select everything, Control A scale. And then if we bevel, you can see it's a little bit different to how it was before. But what we can do is change the settings. And what we want to do is change the segments to 2. So like this, and change the profile to 1. Okay. And you see there now it's just like on a 90-degree angle like this. And what that does is if you have a square, actually this is a good example, we just have a cube like this and a subdivision on it. If I just go bevel with this bevel that we just set up, you can see if I change the width, that controls how much of a subdivision there is. So if we need to very quickly go sharpen up an edge, that is a very good way of doing it. Okay, you see that? Pretty good. And I might even want to make it a little bit smaller of a gap. So I can just select these two faces and then go Alt, select these two edge loops, so like that, and then just go Alt S to go shrink and fatten, bring it up a little bit, and then just make sure we have offset even on, and then you can see we can just change how tight of a gap that is. And then same thing, I think we have one like over here. So on this edge right now, we could just go Control Edge over there just by adding one edge loop, and then just take this edge and then just go Control B to bevel like this, and then like that, and then just go extrude inwards. Okay, and you could even just go add an edge loop along the side of it like that to control the edge. And you see that we have quickly gone from a block out to a pretty decent looking mesh. And if you are newer to Blender and want to learn more about modeling and be able to get direct feedback from me and go join in some group calls, then go check the first link in the description to go join the 3D Modeling Academy, which is my school community. Yeah, back to the video. Now, number 4 is where you actually start the more close-up details. So this is taking it from basically just being cubes to getting an actual decent shape. So maybe it's not even detailing, it's like get the shape. This is like the smooth block out basically. Now number 4 is actually getting in and getting all the good small details. The small details. And here is when you can apply some basic subdivisions, all of that stuff, and start working in all of the extra things. So to start getting some extra detail. So over here, I'm just going to go duplicate it, and then it's just going to be like backup. I usually actually move this, so I'll just move to a new collection called backup. So you can just press M to move, and then in this backup collection, I'll literally just turn it off, and then those are just there if I ever need to go back. So yeah, I can take the subdivisions down to something like 1, maybe 2, and then go and apply it. So like this. And then you'll see this gives me enough edge loops to actually start doing something extra. So like on here, the bottom, we have this. So I can go take this, inset, and then if we put another subdivision on here, so we can go control one in object mode. So here, and maybe go just drag it up a little bit, and then we can go extrude, scale, and then go pull it up. And you see that? So now we got a little indent like here. And then if we need, we can obviously go, I'm going to just take this. And I don't want it to be sloping as much on the sides. So just go S and Y. Maybe move it like there. Cool. Now we can take the edges, let's check in subdivision. So we could just take these and go inset like this. You see that it's controlled quite nicely, and we can just add one in the middle if we need. Cool. So there we go. We've now got our indent. Now, if you need to make any holes or anything cuts into it, you can literally just take them, go R to inset, and then use the loop tools add-on. So go to edit, preferences, add-ons, and then I'm just going to go right click, loop tools, circle. Okay. And then we can just go over here, change the angle. So let's just get it to like roughly straight. And then we just go inset, and then we can just go extrude in. Actually, I think this one's supposed to be a button. So there, maybe insets very slightly, and then extrude back out. Before we do that, I'm just going to add an edge loop here. And you see, so if we turn our subdivision back on, you see, so it looks like this. We can grab the face, and then we go here, extrude up a little bit. So that's basically doing the same as inset, like doing the little edge protection. So we just go extrude up, and we can extrude. And if you want, you can extrude again, just again to do that thing, and then inset. And then if we turn our subdivision on, you can see that is looking good. I think we have the same thing in the center. So you just go here, and then we can go inset. Then we can go loop tools, circle. Let's turn off our subdivision so we can change it. So yeah, we change the radius so we can scale it. So scale it down a little bit, and then change the angle so it's roughly straight, so like that. Okay, and then same thing, we can go inset just to get the edge to be controlled. Then we can go extrude in, extrude down, extrude again. And actually, I think this is supposed to be a hole, so we can just go extrude all the way in like that, and then extrude down again, and then inset, and then turn on subdivision. You see that we have a good thing. And there you go. That's basically how I approach making almost everything inside of Blender. So I hope you have learned quite a bit. And as I showed you, you don't have to use complex modeling tools for all of this. I used like 3 modeling tools this entire time. So I cannot stress this enough. Use these simple tools and you won't go wrong. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you want to learn more, then I have a video right over here that will help you with your modeling and will show you some very good techniques for it. So hope you've seen there. Cheers.